What's going to be How's It Hanging? How's It Happen? You guys know this is Kevin from the Chord Progression Podcast. The podcast, Rolling Stone says, initiates profound discussions with rock and metal artists, allowing fans to discover the creative workflow of their favorite musicians and understand the factors that make the band succeed or fall from fame. We're all sponsored by Dark Fusion Systems, the best for your custom compute needs. Get hundreds off your entire bill. Code CVPod at darkfusionsystem.com. Links to the podcast below. Now, feature presentation. We've had every band from Thriller Records on the podcast except for this one. We have Joy from In Her Own Words on the podcast to discuss the brand new song, Beg for More, what else to come from the band, and why they're going to try releasing a brand new song every month for the next 12 months after not doing any new music for the past 2 years. It's a great episode, a great way to get into the band. Are you ready? Oh yeah, let's go! Yeah. Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, listeners of the Chord Progression Podcast. Since the year 2022, we have brought on pretty much every single band from Thriller Records to the podcast. We have had Rain City Drive. We have had Avoid. We have had Honey Revenge. We have had The Word Alive. We have had them all. But there is still one band from Thriller Records that has eluded us from the podcast. But today we change that and we cover every single one with a brand new song called Beg for More, which came out back in June. The band's first song since 2022. I cannot believe I can say this, but I've hit every single Thriller Records band now with this person. So please welcome Joey from the band In Her Own Words to the podcast. So Joey, welcome to Chord Progression Podcast.
Dude, what is up? Thanks for having me.
Dude, it's great to have you. Great to finally round out the whole entire roster of Thriller. Everyone's on here at least once, and now it's going to be after this. Everyone's got to get on here twice, 3 times, 4 times to just keep it rolling.
Yeah, dude, it's crazy that you've had every single one that's on the roster. I don't think I've ever met an interviewer that's done an entire label's worth of bands. That's pretty sick.
It's ridiculous. Every time I had I had Thriller just send me somebody. It's I usually enjoy their music, so I'm going to give it a shot. Why not? And I've had some absolutely great bands here. I think it started out with, I had Rain City Driving before they were on Thriller. And then, of course, Avoid, because I had them on well beforehand, but Avoid is just hysterical. Then just start picking off one by one, and then just was waiting for that one last one. I know you guys are going to come with something. I just got to wait for that release. Once it hit, it was bing, bang, boom. I got to make this happen.
Perfect, man. Yeah, we just put that song out back in June. But yeah, Tabitha was telling me about your podcast, and I'm happy to be here.
Well, I'm hoping Tabitha said good things, because if she didn't, well then clearly I'm doing something wrong. But you're here, so I don't think it was too bad.
Yeah, I think we're rocking. This is good.
Perfect. Well, I know it's Beg for More came out back June. It was your first release in 2 years. So over the past 2 years, what have you guys been up to? Because I'm curious. I need to know this.
Yeah, we've kind of been under the radar a little bit. We've been touring a little bit since the last. Actually, no, we've actually toured quite a bit since the record came out. But yeah, we've just been playing a lot of shows. We've been writing a bunch of music. Beg for More, I think we wrote over a year ago now. So, and we have a bunch more on the way. So we kind of playing this cat and mouse game of, play some shows, record some songs, play some shows, record some songs. But I'm happy now we are on the release these songs portion of it. So yeah, we've just been gearing up for, a whole mountain of releases this year. So.
That does make a lot of sense, especially after releasing Distance or Decay back in 2022. Of course, coming out of the pandemic too, brand new release. You're going to want to tour on it like every other band was and get out there, get the record out in front of everybody. But of course, when it comes to new material, especially in today's day and age where it seems like everybody has to release something new every month or so, just try and stay in the good graces of a Spotify or Apple Music algorithm. You guys just were focusing on shows, focusing on the music that you guys were creating, and were waiting for the right time to not only release it, but making sure that it was done to the quality that you guys know you can do and are absolutely happy with. So when people hear it, they know it's you, they know it's high quality music, and they know they're going to get a good impact in return in terms of how they listen to it and how it hits them emotionally.
Yeah, that's honestly, you hit the nail on the head. That's exactly what we were doing. We didn't want to rush, releasing songs. At the same time, it was very frustrating, trying to because we have these songs where we got to put this out now, But I'm glad that we took the time that we did. But now it's go time. We're going to put out a bunch of songs this year and just do it, the right way. We're kind of just focused on release mode, as we've been calling it.
Yeah, but now that you're focusing on release mode, you have these songs already, recorded, ready to go. basically what you can do is you can kind of go around that mentality of releasing a lot of these maybe a month or two at a time and have that consistent feeding of music into people's ears, into these algorithms, while still making sure it's as high as quality as possible, so that when you guys are able to go back out on the road, you're able to play these, but then you're still in that consistent rotation of curated playlists, which, I mean, it sucks where it's like you have to play that game now, but that's just the way the world is, the way the music industry works. So it's like you got to play along with it, but you also have to make sure still that the music that you're creating has the absolute substance behind it to stand on its own, because if it doesn't, then it's like it comes out one week and is gone the next.
Yeah, honestly, it doesn't even suck. It's actually kind of exciting doing it this way, because we've always done, we put out 2-3 singles, then a record, and then 2 years go by, and then we're like, okay, we should probably write another record. But now it's like we have all these songs done. We're gonna put them out. Yeah, like you said, we're actually doing a song a month, every month this year, which is kind of fun. And we've never really done it that way, so I'm kind of excited to see how it differs from past releases. And honestly, yeah, we'll do a song a month this year, and then even after that, I think we're just going to keep pumping out song after song and just keep pushing it out, and like doing, just trying something new with the way that we approach releasing music. And we're announcing a song next week, and it'll be out like a week and a half after that. So just a ton of, just kind of shoving new songs down people's throats is what my manager has been saying. So
well, that's
I'm
not
excited
a bad
to see
way.
what comes of it.
I'll say it's not a bad way to go about it either, just given the time framing. Like you said, you have gone through the past where it's a couple singles, an album, and that's what so many people are used to. But, why not try something new? Why not try, a little bit, not necessarily sticking with the trend, but sticking with what, is available at the time, what the times are going towards, so that you can see if that's actually going to work out better. Because if it does work out, hey, that's fantastic. If it's better for you to do a couple of singles than a record, then you figure that out in the back end, but you don't have that until you actually try and have that raw, concrete data to go behind.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I'm excited about. I'm excited to see how how it shapes up compared to our last release. So I guess we'll see. Time will just tell. We're going to put out, a song a month for basically an entire year, which is pretty exciting. Which personally, I would be excited if one of my favorite bands was like we're just going to do a new song every 4 weeks until you get completely sick of us putting out new songs. I think that's kind of just like a cool way to do it.
Honestly, I kind of have to agree with you, because I'm still sitting here thinking, okay, my favorite band of all time, they last released a brand new record in June of 2021. We're in July of 2024 right now, and I'm just like, I know they recorded stuff, I know they've been working on stuff, but I'm still waiting to hear it. Otherwise, if I want to go back and listen to the newest thing, I got to go back and listen to Nowhere Generation by Rise Against. And I'm like, as much as I like it, it's like, come on, I kind of want something more here. But what you guys are doing, especially given that one song a month for a whole year, if I had my favorite band do that, I'd be stoked, even though it's like, yeah, I don't have every single song at once, but it seems like every song gets its release and you get Christmas 12 times a year instead of once.
Yeah, that's the whole point of it. I think it's going to be cool. I think our fans are going to like it, and I think it's going to help us, grow some new fans. People who haven't been, they haven't had a chance to give us give us a listen, or they have and it wasn't really their thing, because we're kind of changing up some sounds on these new songs. We're keeping the same iHouse feel, but we're definitely bringing in some new elements that me and Andretti have been working on. So I'm excited to see what people think about it. It's gonna be fun.
But isn't a time when you're releasing singles like once every month for a whole entire year the time to try new things, because each thing gets its new release and gets its own time to actually grow on fans, instead of potentially getting lost as a deep track on an album?
Yeah, I think that's what's cool about it. I think that's you hit the nail on the head again. Like, that's exactly why it's going to be cool. And then we can kind of see, for me, like these 7 songs, we're putting out 7 songs this year. But these songs are definitely like my favorites that we've ever had. So I'm excited to see what people think, and and see what people like and maybe don't like about it. Not that we'll change what we write based on what people think, because we kind of just put out the songs that we want to put out anyways. But I'm excited for people to see what we've been working on, because we really put our noses to the grindstone the last spent almost a year and a half of trying to write new songs. So
I think in the end, it's actually going to work out rather well for you guys, because I'm taking a look and trying to think in my mind, okay, have I seen a band do this in the past, and what has been the overall response from that? And I still remember back in mid 2021, right when concerts were starting to come back, everyone was breaking from the pandemic. Memphis May Fire seemed like they were releasing a single every single month up until the release of Remain Misery in June of 2022. And while it was Memphis May Fire, I knew exactly I was going to get on each and every song pretty much. It kept me intrigued and interested, and I still listen to that album all the way, 2 years later, and I will probably still be listening to it because I still remember all the songs that came out as singles. They all had their own individualistic feel of release. And if there was one that was a little bit different from the other, I had the full enough time to digest it. Where you guys, whatever you're going to be trying to, I think you're going to end up seeing a lot of the similar results that they did, maybe a little bit on a bigger scale, because if you're trying a little bit more new things, a little bit more of a vast array, you might have something in there that you experimented with that's really going to hit and really going to pop. You might have one time where it doesn't necessarily hit as well as you thought it was going to, but you're giving each song the opportunity to thrive like a single, compared to potentially being lost in a deep cut where people are not necessarily listening to albums full on through these days, and those deep cuts could be absolutely amazing, and then they get lost in the shuffle because they're not the single, they're not as recognizable, or they're not the curated playlist songs that people can just pick up on.
Dude, exactly. And it's like that's what's happened. We have 3 full-length records now, and there's some songs that are on there, like I'll show fans, or I'll hear from a fan and be like, oh, did you hear this song that was on this record? And they're like, no. And I'm like, damn, that was kind of like my favorite one on that record. And that just happens time and time again. So I'm happy to give each song, the attention that it deserves, rather than having stuff get buried. And obviously, I have like my favorite albums that, I know songs on some of these records that, the average listener won't like. And it's kind of nice being the one that like knows these deep cuts, and you can kind of like gatekeep them a little bit. And, but I don't think that's going to be an issue. I think just giving the songs the attention that they deserve is the way to go with these new ones. So.
Oh, absolutely. But before we jump into some of these songs, we could get a little bit of more of an overview. So when you guys are working on these songs, you said there's going to be a little bit of a different sound maybe in each and every single one, different things you're trying out. What are some of those influences that you guys are working with on these songs that are going to be releasing over the course of 12 months?
A big one is Andretti loves the band Camino. So he wanted to put some of those, synthy kind of sounds on top of like cool sounding, like, I don't know, classic rock tonal, like guitar riffs. So we have some of that stuff. I'm like a pop influenced singer, so there's a lot of like poppy choruses and stuff, and melodies. But there's also like there's a bunch of grit in them. Like there's one song that I'm actually like screaming on, which I haven't done since 2017. There's an acoustic song. There's just kind of like, it just feels really fresh compared to just writing verse chorus songs that we've done in the past. We're experimenting, but we also like we know what we were getting out of these experiments. So I guess we'll just have to wait and see, if people vibe with them, which I'm pretty sure that they will. But if they don't, it's fine. You can listen to our old stuff.
Yeah, that's always kind of how way to look at it too, where it's you see bands over the course of time. When you guys brought your first EP back in like 2010, we're 14 years later. You guys necessarily aren't the same people. You guys are listening to different things. You guys went through different experiences through life because that's just the way it happens. And perspectives change. So how you connect with things with different sounds, how you want to present this in your music creatively, it's going to be a little bit different than what you were back then. You're not going to be the exact same over and over again. And if you just make the same song, the same sound over and over again, it gets tired. It gets stale. People just kind of pass up on it. And even if you have fans saying, I wish you still sound like this or this or this.
Yeah.
I always think about this. What would you rather have from one of your favorite bands? Would you rather have them make one more song or one more record of the stuff that you absolutely like and have them hate it and then break up and never make another record again or never tour again?
Right.
Or make stuff that they want to make. Maybe you're not the biggest fan of it, but you can always go back to their old stuff. And when you go and see them live, you're still going to get a mix of the new stuff and the old stuff, and you still get to enjoy that band fully. And then they get to enjoy being in the band and bringing you consistent happiness over the course of time. Like, one seems better than the other.
Yeah, it's crazy because I don't think a lot of people realize that when I joined In Our Own Words, I was 17 years old. So like I was just like, actually when I joined, I was still in my last year of high school. So it's like that was a long time ago now, and it's like I've grown as a person, I've grown as a songwriter, and I don't want to. I honestly, even if I tried to write that stuff again, it wouldn't work because I'm just such a different person now, and like I listen to different music now, and I write completely differently. So there's kind of no going back. Like I've just grown so much over the course of touring and putting out all these songs and stuff. So there's really no way to write that way again. But I think that's a good thing because I'm a lot more excited now than I was even writing Distance or Decay. I'm just, I have like a new fire under me, if you will. So.
Yeah, and I think one of the biggest things too is, especially when you and Andretti are working on this stuff together, is even with these different influences that you're working on, these different ideas that you want to have, it's still going to have that core and like absolutely like at the core sound that in your own words really still has. So when people listen to it, they know exactly, it's like, okay, this is your sound, this is who you guys are, but the experimentation on it is going to vastly grow the potential of where you guys could go with your music. I think about the record that The Warning just put out, because if you listen to the choruses, it's still absolutely them, but you can see where some of those influences come in to change it up just a little bit. The verses really go much further in those influences, but it still all comes back to what they can do with that powerhouse style where you guys are coming from. I mean, if you listen to Beg for More, it still has that in her own words feel, just a little bit of a different capacity and delivered in a little bit of a different way. But when you boil it down, it's like, it's absolutely you guys. Like, there's no doubt in my mind where it's like, oh, who's this sound like? If you haven't heard of In Her Own Words before, then you might not know. But if you have heard of them, you definitely know it's them.
Thank you, man. Yeah, that feels good. I definitely don't want to be one of those bands that's like, oh, does this sound like this band or this band? Like, no, it's actually this one that sounds the exact same. So I'm glad that you can pick us out of a bunch. That's nice.
Yeah, because that's kind of one thing that a lot of artists, I think, strive for. Is that you want to be the one, be able to pick out of a bunch for your sound, for your style. And if you're able to, then people that really connect with it can connect with it. And people that are just brand new to it are going to find something that they can really open up to and see where this is going to go. They don't know where the journey is going to go, but they're going to be happy to go along on the ride for it.
Yeah. I'm excited to start hearing what people are thinking about it. I know there's going to be, those core few that are like, this isn't the In Her Own Words that I know and love. And I'm like, yeah, it is. We're just, this is years and years later from when you first heard like that song that you like. So
yeah, but I mean, even from my standpoint too, there's times with certain bands I'm like, man, I wish you still would made the song like this or this sound, because maybe at times that's when I needed the band the most, or I really connected with that sound the most.
Yeah.
And even as they go on now, I'll use because I've got my We Came as Romans shirt on. Like, I listen to Dark Bloom. I really like Dark Bloom, but it's a little bit, it just doesn't hit the same as something like when they released Cold Like War, because there's no Kyle Pavone. But of course, there's an understanding there of why they had to change that sound. But it's like, I still want to go back to that a little bit, just because from when it came out, when I started listening to it, the emotional tie to it is just a lot stronger. But people need to kind of try and push past that at times and realize that, times change, artists change. And we already talked about that, but if you can kind of get past that point of you're so emotionally connected to one style of a band sound in your head and be open where else they can go from it, then it's going to allow you to go on that journey with them and not only grow with their sound, but you can also grow as a person and be inspired based off of that.
Yeah. And yeah, I like what you said about like, it was like that moment for that song, for that person. We got to give it a chance for these new songs to be that moment for them when it comes. And if it's, hopefully you feel the same about our new songs as you do the old ones. But if you don't, like maybe Steady Glow as an album and as a song was there for you at that time. And maybe, it's like there's like parallel. So it's like sometimes you're like this, and then sometimes they like interlock here. And sometimes that just doesn't happen. And sometimes it happens and it's like a huge explosion of emotion. So we're just trying to broaden that, the chances of that happening by trying different stuff and putting out what we want to put out. And, all the lyrics are stuff that actually like happened to me. So it's like, nothing's like made up. There's no like fake stories there. Like, just saying stuff just to put it in a song because it sounds cool. Like everything comes from me and Andretti's, personal experiences and musical experiences. So kind of just whatever it's going to be is what it's going to be. And hopefully it touches as many people as we hope it will.
It's also a great way to look at it too. I mean, I just need to reiterate that to everybody so it gets drilled in your head, not only for In Her Own Words, but for every other band that you like. Yeah, you connected with those songs at a certain point in time in your life, and that's great. But these other new songs that are coming out, maybe they're a little bit different. Maybe you're not going to connect with them as fully, but you got to let them grow so that they have a chance for other people to connect with them like you did with this band's other songs too. So just give it a chance. Just be open to it and let it breathe. Just
there we go. I love that.
There we go. But let's dive into this. So especially Beg for More, that was the first one of this whole entire new SWAT single you guys released. So what was the inspiration for Beg for More, not only from a musical standpoint, but from a lyrical and storytelling standpoint?
Yeah, so Beg for More was it was a co-write. So actually a lot of these new songs we brought in some of our our favorite writers because we did a lot of the songs here I live in Nashville.
Hmm.
And there's a bunch of good writers here. Some of them are my really good friends. So we brought in my buddy Cameron Walker for that song. So it was written by me, Andretti Cameron Walker. Dan Rubin, who plays drums for us, also helped with the guitars, and Andrew Bayless. And so yeah, it was a co-write that we kind of just came in blind. I think me and Dan had a guitar riff that we brought to Bayless, and then he kind of like he's like, "Oh, that's cool," but then he's like, "What if it goes like this?" And I was like, "Damn, that's actually a really cool spin on it." And then lyrically, me and Cameron kind of just grinded it out over the demo. Lyrically, it's I was kind of going through like an on again off again kind of relationship, which you can kind of tell through the lyrics. But it's kind of about like you know uh like it's kind of about not wanting to let go of something when you know you have to, and that's kind of an overarching theme of like a lot of these new songs. Because I wrote them all at a very specific time in my life. But yeah, lyrically and emotionally, I think it just kind of came out of us. Like I was saying this on an interview before. Like I think we wrote the entire top line, like the lyrics and the melody, in maybe 45 minutes to an hour. It kind of just like it wasn't a whole lot of thinking. It was more just like this feels like it's telling a message that needs to be told. So that's kind of like how we came about it. And we're like, damn, like this song definitely has single potential. And then we send it to the label, and they're like, honestly, I think "Beg for More" is feels the strongest for a debut single for the new era. So that's kind of just how we came about, and here we are. "Beg for More" is out finally, and I couldn't be more excited about it.
Listening to lyrics. I was easily able to pick up on that, like on again, off again relationship, and potentially having to remove somebody from your life. Even if you can't bring yourself to do it, but it's like it's best for you, but you're still struggling with that decision. Because in the way I look at it, it's kind of like it also picks up a little bit of on a separate meaning as well in the same conjunction of how we still like create this idea that we want that person in our lives, despite it being bad for us, because at times we are afraid to go into that unknown of what is after that. The fear of having to do something new or make a big change emotionally can cause a lot of fear in people. And that can make you stay in a negative situation when you should remove that person entirely from your life. So you're still begging for more misery and more
Right.
pain from that person because you're too afraid to try and go forward without them and see what's out there. Because in your mind, you're like, if I lose them, things could be worse. But you're already in a bad situation anyway. If you're in a
Right.
bad situation, just go forward. What could be worse than that? If things just don't go right, then you're kind of just back in the same place you are, but you have a lot more flexibility to go and get back and get better because you're not being held down by that person. Sure, you might sink, but you'd have no ceiling on your happiness if you get rid of that person. But we still beg for more because we're still afraid of that unknown.
Yeah, and that's a good piece of advice too. It's like if you don't see how it can ever get better, you might as well sink all the way down and grow from it rather than, like you said, there's like a ceiling on your happiness in that situation. So you might as well try to switch it up. It might suck for a little bit at the beginning, but honestly, every experience I've ever had, even though it's tough to admit in the moment, is like it feels better after you just kind of fucking get over it. Like you could just get over whatever feeling you can and do whatever you have to do that. But the first step is always a little bit scary, which is what the whole song's about. So you got that right on the head.
I'll say, because that basically explains my whole entire years in college. Because I had a friend who, her and I were always good friends, but she always kind of kept me as like that guy on reserve in a way. Or the emotional guy. It was like the fluffer basically. And then as time kept going on, it was like my happiness in that kind of realm had that ceiling because she was a part of my life. And I never went anywhere else from it just because I'm like, things could get worse, or what happens if I get rid of her, where's that going to go? All of a sudden, when I made that decision, it's like, I cannot deal with this anymore. Drop that person. I completely just kind of left him to the side. I moved on and the ceiling was gone. And it just kept going up and up and up. And the person wanted to come back in my life. And I told myself, why would I put that ceiling back on myself? I've already surpassed it. So
right.
Yeah, I don't need to beg for more anymore. I'm good. Like, I don't need to hope for just the crumbs. I'm so much better off at this moment.
Yeah, it's just tough because like sometimes, I mean, most of the time, hindsight's 20/20, and you're like, damn, why did I stay in that situation for so long when I mean, I guess you don't know like in the moment if it's gonna feel better after some time, but honestly, like time kind of heals most things, and if you can give it some time to breathe for a couple weeks, you're like, okay, maybe I will be okay, and most of the time you will be, and the universe just kind of has like a way of working itself out with stuff like that, and if you ever stuck in that situation, just know that it can always get better.
Yeah, I
With no
think.
matter what, like a relationship, or even could be like a job, or like
Mhm.
something else in your life that's not doesn't have to even be like a romantic thing. Like sometimes just like letting the string go a little bit will just be beneficial in the long run.
Yeah, I think even I can even remember back from an episode of that '70s show. I think Red Former was talking to Eric about breaking up with Donnie. He's like, yeah, I broke with this girl and it hurt like hell. And like the day after, that's all I could think about. Then as time went on, I didn't think about it as much. And then I thought about it even less and less. And then one day I didn't even think about it at all. It's like, yeah,
Yep.
right at the beginning, it's gonna suck 'cause that's all you're gonna think about. But time goes on. You are gonna start healing from that, and you're gonna start picking up the pieces every now and again until the point you get to where you're so far beyond that if it comes back, you're going to realize where that ceiling was, and you realize how higher you are above that. So you're not going to want to put that ceiling back on your potential.
Yeah, and there's a thing. This might not really apply, but there's like an analogy of grief in a sense, and basically there's a box,
Mm-hmm.
and like your shitty feelings starts as a huge circle in that box, and it's kind of rotating, and every time it hits the side of the wall of the box, it hurts a little bit. So when you start out, your circle's this big, you're hitting the box, it hurts all the time. But then as time goes on, it gets a little bit smaller. So the time that the ball hits the box is, there's more time in between, and that's in the time that you heal, and eventually like that ball will get minuscule, and you won't even really think about it, and then usually it'll just go away completely.
Yeah, when you brought up the box, I'm like, I know exactly where you're going
Yeah,
with
yeah,
that,
yeah.
man.
I think that's usually about people dying, but it can be used for this too.
It can be used for this, absolutely, and it makes a lot of sense. Now, when it came to the overall creation of the song, when it came to the construction of it, I was listening, I'm like, it definitely has that hook, it has that connection, it has that pop to it. And there was a point where I was expecting, I'm like, there sounds like there could be something a little bit heavier that drops in there from a little bit of a different influence. And when I got to the bridge, it was kind of more of this like pop punk flavor, meets a little bit of like From Ashes to New Style with some of the rougher guitars, the popping drum fills. And I
Yeah.
put the vocals having that layered, clean consistency, mixed a little bit of a higher pitch contrast from you, really make this a song that anybody that grew up in the 2000s will absolutely love. It just hits
Yeah,
on that, but it has that modern twist to it, especially when I hear some of the heavier instrumentals that remind me a little bit of From Ashes to New.
yeah. I wanted to have so the in that bridge, actually the higher one is Andretti singing. So I wanted to
Oh,
have,
really?
because Andretti has this really cool like emo sounding voice that he never really got to use. He sang on some stuff on Distance or Decay, and he has like some background vocals on Steady Glow. But I kind of wanted him to have like his like this moment in this song, because he does that part that's like the oxygen is leaving me, and that I was like, Andretti, you have to sing that part, because at first I did it and I was like, damn, it's like sounds cool, but I feel like if Andretti has like this kind of like under oathy kind of tone to his voice when he sings in that register, and like Andretti's always a little bit nervous about, or like timid about singing like full on like main vocal parts. So I was like, no, Andretti, just go in there and just like scream it. He's like, I don't know if I can hit that note, and I'm like, you can hit that note, just go do it. And I have a video of him doing it, and we're just like, yo, that's how it's supposed to be, and then it made the record. So it turned out really cool.
Yeah, because when he hits that note and you have a little bit of the heavier backing behind it, it's that powerful contrast that just is
Yeah.
able to pull not only the heaviness out of the backing and make it a little bit more prominent, but his higher pitched voice for the emo sound, it pulls that out much more in the forefront, is just the opposite. But again, it works so well to the point where you're getting that emotion across, you're getting that anguish across of trying to break through, trying to get past that, even though even you're still scared to try and do that because you know it's good for you, but you're scared of the unknown. It absolutely worked out to perfection.
Right, yeah, and it works with the whole message of the song too, so it's kind of cool.
It absolutely does. And if anyone has not listened to Beg for More yet, what I'm begging you to do is try more of this stuff and go listen to Beg for More. That's what you got to do.
Hell yeah.
But because I believe by the time you release the next song, I'll have this one out by the after that. So what's the next one coming up? I mean, I know we've got 11 more still to go, but what are we looking at for number 2?
Yeah, I mean, depending on when this podcast comes out, we're announcing a new single on Tuesday, because today is the 3rd. So Tuesday is the 9th, I believe.
Yeah, this will be out after the 9th for sure.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so we have a new song coming out. It's called "Story of Us." It is my favorite song on the new era of the new songs we're putting out. It's also Andretti's. He was just telling me that it's his too. When we wrote this one with Jaden from With Confidence over last summer, and it was the first song we did with Jaden, and we were just so stoked on it, and it's finally coming out. And yeah, so it's same thing. It's, we're trying some new sounds out. We're trying that new kind of Band Camino guitar style over, my vocals for it. I'm excited. It's going to be cool. So yeah, Story of Us is going to come out on July 19th. And I think it's definitely going to be one that sticks in the live set list, till the end of time. Like we have a couple songs that we'll never not play. And I think Story of Us will be a song like that, where it's like, it's always going to make, the live set list. So super excited for people to hear this one. It's super, another emotional song coming out of us, and another true story that happened in my life lyrically, and yeah, we just can't wait for everyone to hear it.
Well, what's that true story that happened? Because I want to get a little more connected with the song even before I hear it for the first time. Like, bring me in, man, get me hooked.
It's kind of a continuation of the Beg for More story. That's kind of all I can say for now. But once it comes out, if you want to do another podcast, I'm happy to hop on again and talk about, as songs come out, we can keep doing some more. So,
my God, are we gonna have to do like one a month where we just go through every single song and just like, all right, Joey's back. This is just a continuous loop. Right. It's like, this is part one now, 2, 3, 4.
Maybe let's let a couple songs come out and then we'll go through them all on the list. That'd be cool.
You know what? I actually be really down for that, because then I could just continuously listen to them, write down my thoughts on them as I go along. And then by the time we get to the point where it's like, okay, we're about 8, 9 in, we got 3 more to go. Yeah. Let's just review these. I've got every single one fully fleshly thought out, and I don't have to like try and push myself through. It's like, I got to get all these done at once. Like, nah, I'll just take the release day. Take 10, 15, 20 minutes, really think about it. Because when I was going through Beg for More, I was really putting this together about halfway through the song, and my girlfriend walked in, and I'm like, nope, I got to finish this. And she was even jamming out to it too. So
nice.
Cool. You may have made a fan just by me having to work on preparing for this entire episode.
Yeah, man. Keep playing them for whoever, and maybe they can hop on the iHo train.
Played for the homies, played for the ladies, played for everybody. In her own words, is the band you need to play for everybody this summer, this fall, this winter, and every season going forward.
Perfect.
So beyond the singles, what else can we expect from you guys this year? Any more tours? Any more live dates? Are you guys just working and hoping these releases go the best that they possibly can be, as you're going to make them be the best they possibly can be?
Yeah, we're kind of being selective with our live show. We have like a couple of festivals and stuff they're working for later that are not announced yet. But we're kind of waiting for the perfect tour. We're kind of trying to stay away from, because we did a headliner last year. So I think we're going to try to, hop on some support slots, ideally. So hopefully these songs will help us, reach more people, and we can start playing them live again. But for now, we're kind of just in, like I said, we're in release mode, and we're going to just, promote the hell out of them and see what happens.
That makes a lot of sense. There's definitely some bands that you guys could definitely hop on with in terms of like a support slot that would, for me, it not only makes a lot of sense, but also can continue to help the band grow even further. Like, again, looking in the future, like, I know they just really announced a tour, but Point North would absolutely work. From Ashes to New would work. Set It Off would work. There's a lot of potential that's there. And it just depends upon what's going to be best for you guys, what you want to do, because it is your band. This is your life. You guys are the ones that get to make the choices.
Yeah, and for all those people that are like, when are you coming to my city? Like, when are you going to, go on tour again? Tell your favorite bands to take us. That's like the best thing you can do, is like put our name in the hat from a commenting on Instagram standpoint, and that honestly goes a lot farther than people think. So if you're listening to this and you want us to tour with your favorite band, tell your favorite band that you want us to tour with them, and it could just very well happen.
Just comment in her own words on every band that you want them to tour with on their post, because trust, and if they specifically ask like, who do you want to see us tour with, that's the perfect time to do it, because bands actually take that seriously, because they want to know if the fans are the ones that are requesting it, then they know that people are going to actually show up to this. They're not just taking a chance and thinking that this might not work or this might work. No, that's actual data-driven results that you can be a part of, and you can really make that happen. So do it.
Yeah, I don't care if you annoy people. I don't care if bands get annoyed. Just keep doing it. Doesn't bother me.
Just keep doing it. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Reddit, anywhere. carrier
Write them a
pigeons, just do it.
Write them a handwritten letter.
But you got to write it
Tell their
on
grandmas.
a big giant piece of parchment with a feather
With a
quill
feather.
pen.
Yep. Honestly, that's the best method is a feather quill pen.
Oh.
Everything comes in cycles.
And if for some reason, if it's being financed by Nick Cage, just, seal a Declaration of Independence and write the letter on the back of it and send it to him.
That's perfect. And that'll work. And then we'll tour with every band that you ever want us to.
That's the perfect way to go about it. Well, Joey, I got one more question for you before I wrap this up. I've asked every single artist this question since September of 2023, and we are keeping it going with you. So, Joey, can you name me 3 bands that you absolutely love that you would love to see more people get into? It's a chance to get more people to listen to more new music and the stuff that you absolutely love.
Ooh, that's great. Yeah, I'm going to just plug my friends because all my friends write sick-ass music. The first one is the band Shri Amor. They are Baltimore-based, and they are on, because we're part of this music group, our management is Reclaim Music Group. So listen to Shri Amor. They have some new shit coming out. The second band would be the band Young Culture. I actually live with the singer of Young Culture. His name's Alex. They are one of my favorite bands of all time. I listen to them almost every single day. And then the band Telltale. They are Virginia-based, but their singer John is my buddy. He lives here in Nashville. They just put out a sick new record that's stepping the game up for them. So Sharia Moore, Young Culture, and Telltale would be my 3 answers.
That's perfect. And you said you're plugging friends. I'm like, that's exactly what we need to just keep helping out each other, keep plugging each other. I was going to laugh if you actually said like, okay, let's plug some Thriller bands when you put Honey Revenge in there, because I swear half the people say half the people I ask that question to say Honey Revenge. I'm just like, I always laugh every time I hear it. So just because you're on Thriller, I'm like, I had to bring that up. It just made too much sense.
Yeah, I'm going to shout out my boys before anything.
Yeah, so go listen to all of those bands. Shri Moore, Young Culture,
and Telltale.
Telltale. Yeah, I'm like, I gotta remember all 3 of them, but sometimes too many hits to the head in the pits. Sometimes it happens.
Yeah, dude, it happens.
9 concussions, I'll do that to you. Well, Joey, as we bring this podcast to conclusion, I always like to give my guests a chance to say whatever they want to say, plug for them to plug, promote for them to promote. So, my friend, floor is yours.
Yep, listen to Beg for More, stream it 10 times a day, and then when Story of Us comes out, do the same thing.
That actually works out really well. So I'm going to close out by saying this. 3 things. First thing, when it comes to, in her own words, when it comes to streaming Beg for More 10 times, Story of Us 10 times when it comes out, this is what you're going to do. You're going to go to the description of this podcast where it says find In Her Own Words online. Links, labels for all social media, where you can stream these songs, where you can find them online, get some merch, and be ready when they are about to go on tour, where you can get tickets. And remember, comment on other bands' posts that they should go on tour with In Her Own Words, because they will take that seriously. I'm your own personal Google. Everything's down there. So go and make sure you follow along and listen to In Her Own Words with more new music coming out this year and some next year even as well. Well, Joey, now it's time for number 2. Whenever guests in the podcast, I enjoy the podcast, I tend to make a certain promise as a way to say thank you. I really appreciate you taking the time, and I would love to continue to support the band in the future. So this is how I do it. It is a when promise. So when implies this is going to happen. We just don't have a day or time yet. When I get to see you perform live for the first time, I will somehow try and find a way to look for you, find you, say hello to you. But the promise really comes in when I say, first round's on me.
That's perfect. That's great.
And if for some reason, all of a sudden you hear a knock on your bus door and it's like, what the hell is that? And some guy yells, it's the beer man. Oh, it's me with a fucking case of beer.
That's great, dude. My favorite beer is Coors Light. I can also do Miller Lite. And my favorite shot is a shot of Fernet. A lot of people don't know what that is, but
ooh.
Yeah,
I'm surprised to hear Fernet in that. That's actually kind of cool.
Little Italian liqueur. I actually mentioned Fernet in Story of Us. So that's a little Easter egg if people listen to this before it comes out. That'd be kind of cool.
Well, that is really interesting. And when it comes to Coors Light, Miller Lite, dude, I live in Milwaukee. So you're pretty much calling my name with that shit right now.
Cool. We're good to go then.
Oh, we're absolutely good to go. Well, now number 3 is I cannot end this episode by saying goodbye, because Joey, this was a hell of a lot of fun. I made a promise you, and I want to make sure I keep that promise. Plus, as more singles come out, after a couple come out, we got to bring you back on. We got to talk about more of these singles. So we'll make it happen. Definitely. I'll keep in contact with good old Thriller Records, and this will not be your only time on the podcast. This is not goodbye, my friend. This is I'll see you later.
Awesome.
Well, folks, my interview with Joey from the band In Her Own Words. And now it's time for Kevin's final thought. I'm psyched to see what happens when they release a brand new song every single month. And, that's just the way that it kind of has to be done now. Here's what I'm thinking about this. So, yes, am I one of those guys that just wants to get a couple singles and get the whole album? Yeah, I kind of like the old style of it. But that's not the way that, when it comes to a band trying to really break through and trying to get a lot more noticed, that's not the way it works anymore. So what do bands have to do? They have to try and find a way to stay relevant online in the social media game and in these Spotify playlists and the Spotify algorithms and any streaming algorithm as well. In her own words, what they're doing is, releasing a brand new song every single month, and they've been working these for 2 years. So these aren't just like put together songs and trying to ride a trend. No, this is something that like Memphis May Fire did back in 2021, 2022, when they released almost every single song off of Remade in Misery before the album was released. And by the time we got the album, we only had 3 songs on there, which, made the album kind of not as, impactful on release day. But everyone was excited and stoked about it from June of 2021 up until its release in June of 2022. In her own words, has the ability to not only give these songs the life they deserve, but also a chance for fans to really get into what they're doing, what they're going to be trying to do, and a little bit more of the experimentation side of the band going forward. You're going to see new things, and they're going to get the full-on pressure, release, and visibility that they deserve to really glow. So I'm excited to see what happens, and we'll bring Joey back in the future, but make sure you're ready for that by going to the description of the podcast below, where it says find In Her Own Words online. Links, labels for everything are down there, so you can stay in the know with the band, know when they're going to be touring around your area, know what bands to, post about and say, hey, take In Her Own Words on tour with you guys, along with any single that comes out. So be sure to go and do that. Also, hit subscribe to the Chord Progression Podcast on YouTube right down here, or hit follow on Spotify and Apple Podcasts and like the episodes, because we'll bring back Joey again in a couple of months, when more singles are out, and talk about them and just have a blast and see how this is all working out for him. This ain't Joey's only time on the podcast, so be sure to subscribe to make sure you don't miss out on the next time he comes back. Also, be sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Links in the description below. Thank you, everybody, for listening, watching. Thank you, Joey, for being on. Looking forward to having you again, my friend. On that note, that's going to be it, guys. Thank you for watching, listening to the Chord Progression Podcast. My name is Kevin, and you guys know how I end every single one. It's a big, healthy, and hearty see ya! Yeah!